Welcome to the TDC Today Show communities. My name is Sue Roscoff. The Disability Channel, or TDC, is out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, showcasing abilities. TDC is committed to providing quality digital media production services, education, and employment programs by and for persons with disabilities and veterans. TDC offers digital media production, video production, post production, social media, and podcast creation, production, and support. TDC offers education and employment programming, which includes digital media courses to persons with disabilities who are unemployed and underemployed. TDC also offers community partnerships. Through partnerships and sponsorships, community partners and organizations become ability champions by supporting media created by and for people with disabilities and veterans. We are your USA team, and I could not be more excited for what we are bringing you today. First up, joining us is my co-host, Michael Martin Hummel. Michael is a writer, speaker, and podcaster who works to bridge the gap between disabled and able-bodied people. Michael, so glad to have you here. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's good to see you. Good to be here.
So I know you had an event recently. I wonder if you want to just touch a bit on how that all went. Remind everybody what that was.
Last Saturday we had an event. Once a month I do a an event on Zoom where I bring people in with disabilities and they speak on a certain theme for the month. And then last month we had our 10 speakers, and next month we have 20. So we're
Woo.
getting bigger.
And 20 speakers, that's going to be amazing. So,
Yeah,
and what is the theme for next month?
caregiving.
That is a huge theme. That is important. That is, oh my gosh. And do you have some of your speakers already in place? Or are you still working to recruit a few more?
Oh, I have about 7 or 8 people lined up. So I'm not completely done getting all the speakers, but I have almost most of them.
Excellent. Well, that is going to be amazing. And where would people find more information so they can find out more?
They can email me at michaelhummel@wheelsandwarriors.com, or they can find me on my website, which is wheelsandwarriors.com. And then through either one of those, they can contact me, and then I'll give them all the information they want.
Excellent. I love it. So many good things going on. So glad to be able to hear that you had such a good success and that you got even more coming. It's just
Yeah.
getting bigger and bigger. I'm excited to hear more what's coming down the pipe there.
Me too.
So, and we have an amazing guest joining us today. I am super excited to have uh you will not believe all the background, the stories, all the things. Before we bring him in though, I'm gonna go ahead and get Marianne of Waikiki in the door here to say hello to everybody. Marianne, how are you?
Oh, good. Hello. Hi. I'm trying to connect.
You're here. I can hear you.
Oh, hi. I was trying to push the button here. So, aloha, everybody. I'm Marianne of Waikiki, the author and Apple game developer of the Acts of Kindness series, featuring 200 folk Manos puppets. And the books are written for animation movies with sign language characters and a soundtrack by Lucy and the Perfect Waves. So, moving forward, Kurt Roscoff and I and Anthony Sorelli and Mark Bayan on the Mark TV, we are moving forward with projections for 2026 to get these books out there into the world. So we are moving forward. So um, all classroom teachers can receive copies of the books from donorschoose.org. That's donorschoose.org. And we also have Thanksgiving coming up, so we are grateful for the World of Ability and the Today Show and the Disability Channel with Jay Stoyan supporting all this amazing work to get out for the world as well as for veterans. And so we want to share that we have a YouTube video, kids, the Acts of Kindness series, where you can meet Greta Gobble on the golf course and learn the numbers 1 through 9 in sign language. And you can so go out and play the Apple app game today. So great fun activities for family fun. And we have coloring books as well. And if you have a chance, Sue, we can play some book trailers later on down there. But we're going to celebrate Greta Gobble on the golf course. So I know Mr. Roscoff has worked with golfers and in Wisconsin and everything. So maybe he could share a little story of his experience in the golf community and Greta Gobble on the golf cart. So, Mr. Roscoff, are you there?
Ooh, let me go ahead and bring
I
him on in.
Yeah, I am here. Yeah, my story in the golf industry is that unbeknownst to me, after I turned 12 years old, that year in 1983, my father was in a situation where he sold turf grass equipment, and he went to this golf course to get paid on his sale of this, you know, turf grass equipment. And come to find out, it was taken up under receivership, owned by the bank then, so bankruptcy and so on and so forth. And so the president of Valley Bank at the time, kind of gestured to my father to say, hey, you at least know what you're doing with, you know, a big part of running a golf course because all the equipment stuff and all the things, you should put a bid, the president of the bank says. And so my bid and gives it to the president, figuring, they're going to be able to sell it for a whole lot more than that. But no, lo and behold, my father got the call, Red Roscoff, you're the proud new owner of Camelot Country Club. And so that started a whole trek. And so what my father did is he created a night where we went out on New Year's Day to watch the Harlem Globetrotters in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And that's where he shared with us kids that he got us into the golf business and that we had a year ahead to turn this, very undermanaged golf course into something that would serve our family okay. And he had intended to continue selling commercial turf grass equipment, but the operator of that out of Janesville, Wisconsin, he said, Red, you're gonna have your hands full with that golf course. You're not gonna have the time you need to keep building your future here. Go and run a successful business. So they let him go. So now he had the double mortgage our house and really put himself out on risk. And then my great uncle actually told him that that was a very foolish thing he did. So my father was very restless about this whole new pursuit, but we rivaled to the occasion as a family and made it a very successful golf course operation. Sold it back in 1997 to the Merkel family. And so we love our Merkel families. And Laura Bowden, who's operating the golf club at Camelot, is how they operate it now. And yeah, 13 years of a tremendous opportunity. Where my father was a part of Lions International and the BOLD program, Blind Outdoor Leisure Development Program, came out a few times to the golf course to have golfers who are blind and enjoy the course. So there you go. That's your insight for today, right here at the Disability Channel about Kurt Roscoff and the beginnings of the golf business.
And I was actually lucky enough to cross over briefly with the golf course there and got to work there basically just weekends, but for an entire summer. We had the weekends and oh my gosh, so many good people, good stories, good everything. It was a lot of fun. So we do have an absolutely amazing guest joining us tonight, and I am super excited to go ahead and bring him in. Norberto Troncoso. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you on screen right away. He is an international speaker, communication strategist, and public speaking performance coach who helps leaders, educators, and organizations unlock clarity, confidence, and momentum in times of transformation. Drawing from over a decade of experience in speech and debate, theater, and youth leadership development, he has coached thousands of emerging communicators to express their ideas with purpose using his signature power framework. A Bronx native and former teacher, Norberto now partners with schools, nonprofits, and mission driven teams across the United States and abroad to strengthen storytelling, elevate team communication, and cultivate cultures where people feel safe to speak, lead, and innovate. His work centers on the belief that courageous communication is the engine of transformation, the spark that moves people, ideas, and organizations forward. Norberto, I am so excited that you are here to share more about what you all do. Come on in and if you want to just give us a little bit more of your background.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I would say I am a stage 3 brain cancer survivor. A couple of years ago, I died, for 11 minutes, and a lot of that experience has shaped me to really live every single day with as much as intention as possible. So I go around the country telling people you got to do it scared. You got to move with purpose, move, have mindset shifts, and that's turned into what does that really mean? Because unfortunately, I see people would rather shoot than speak. And then I'm like, well, that's a problem. And to find out that fear, that communication, public speaking is like the number one fear in America, it's like, well, we got to fix that. So I go around the country and I work on these things in twofold. The first is assemblies and keynotes. We work with schools, we work with teams, educators to really work on mindset, work on what does it mean to be like fearless, have that thriving like cadence that's very important. So we empower that. And then on the opposite end of things, there's also working with teams on being their best operation manager type self. So that means like, okay, let's look at your red flags. Let's look at how you can be a fearless communicator. Let's look at the way that you're communicating. And if it's bad, what's the reason? And we can kind of pick apart that. But that's in a nutshell what I do.
I love it. Well, and I know you have a program or an approach called the Power Framework. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I'm somebody, I grew up in the Bronx. I was not a fan of school. Sometimes I challenged authority a lot because I was just like, you guys are so dumb with your rules. So I'm like, I get that. I mean, now I'm like, I understand the reason for their existence, and obviously, but like a 14-year-old's not gonna get that. So I developed something called the power framework. I made it that simple because I'm like, you need to understand what that means. So power stands for presence, ownership, wavelength, energy, and resonance. Presence meaning how do you show up? Like, how do you show up? Do you show up disheveled? You're not gonna wear makeup on that day because it's not that big of a deal. And then like your supervisors just happens to be in the room. Like, so how do you show up? Do you show up as your best self? Do you look in the mirror and you're like, this is gonna be a good day and believe it and move as if that happens? Because the first second of your day is literally going to set the season. It's going to set the state of how you move. So if that's presence, okay, now you got to own it. Own what isn't all the way good. Own that you got 4 hours of sleep. It's like it happened. Now I'm probably going to have to get coffee. Or, for example, maybe I didn't eat properly. So what does that look like? Own the fact that these are triggers, these are traumas, these are struggles that you go through. So you need to adjust the way you move and speak differently. Wavelength is let's connect with your audience. Audience, I have a theater background, so I say audience a lot. So yes, and it can't just be the audience, it's also the person you're talking to. Maybe they're sad. Does that mean you're gonna come in with balloons? No. Like I would not say like you just have confetti, you're throwing it as they're like mourning the loss of a loved one. And you're just like, but I'm happy, so get over it. Like you can't do that. So what I would say is like you have to tap into them. You guys have to understand each other. You have to sympathize. You have to empathize. You have to be connected to them because that's the emotional intelligence piece. And then you move to energy. It's like, okay, how do you uplift them? Like, are you gonna make them feel good that they're doing this? Are you guys gonna work together? Because collaboration is the thing. Like, let's work on that. If I'm happy, I'm gonna take you to the next level. Maybe I'm drained one day. Like, let's build this up. And then resonance, the R, it literally stands for, okay, how do I leave people? When we're done, I'm a firm believer that you change people. Everyone changes people for good. The unfortunate thing is that us as a society, we just assume that's always a positive thing. But for good has a double meaning. For good can mean forever, and for good can mean for the better. And the problem is that sometimes you change somebody for forever and you've scarred them. You've traumatized them. You made them not ever want to do the thing that you've introduced them to that you thought you were doing well about, but it didn't work out. So how are you leaving people? Are they happy to see you again? Do they smile when they think of you? When your name is mentioned in rooms you're not in, what is their reaction? Because it's going to have an exponential compounding effect because now other people that don't know you have a perception of you without knowing you don't know if they want to meet you or maybe they do, but it all depends on how is your name being spoken about in rooms that you are not in. Again, we can do this in student basis, we can do this in corporate. Like, are you a good recommendation? Are you a good referral? If you are not someone that has a good name because you didn't have a good presence, a good power, ownership, if you didn't have all of these things, then it's safe to say you're not going to have a good representation. You'll be mad you didn't get the job, which will loop its way back to presence. You're going to show up angry. You're going to own the fact that you're angry, but like kind of be like, it's their fault, not yours. You're going to be like, everyone's like, come on. And you're like, no, I don't want to hear it. And then like your energy sucks. So then what are you going to do? You're going to breathe the same thing. They're like, "Ugh, she's such a person. We don't want to deal with her." And then it just loops all over again. So we have to cut the cycle and just do our best. And the only way to do that is to fearlessly communicate, this is how I'm feeling. This is what we need to do to get to a place where I feel effective and then leave you in a better place.
My goodness, so much gold in there that truly there are so many pieces of that speak to me. And I think about, I mean, really, how many people take that moment and have the thought that you just shared of when people are talking about you when you're not there, what is that conversation? Where are you leaving people? What is that? What what is preceding you when you are going back to reconnect with people? Are you creating the connection that people want to continue, or are you creating a connection that is really repelling people? What is it that's happening there? And I don't know that people stop to think about that sometimes. Otherwise, they might think twice about how they're treating others and how they're speaking to them and speaking to them versus speaking at them, or are they really connecting or not?
Yeah, there's a very big difference between talking and communicating. Like when schools bring me in or I work with someone one on one, I think one time I was asked like, why am I paying you to work on my talking? And I'm like, you're so hilarious. You really think this was I we've been talking since you were a baby. I that's not the problem. The problem is you're not communicating properly. You ever say a thing and it just lands the wrong way? And you're
Uh-huh.
like, that's not what I meant. I'm like, yeah, but like your body language, like if you say I'm excited, but like there was no tone, like the face was wrong, you're slouched in your shoulders, and you're like, yeah, I'm happy for you. I don't believe you. But that's what I said. So you talked. You didn't communicate properly. So that's the thing. I'm like, you need to learn yourself. We need to live with intention. And this all goes back to my why is I died. I literally thought that I was gonna be in a casket. And I'm realizing that the main problem is if I'm gonna do this, because a lot of people they say certain things that I've lost friends of mine because they will like I misunderstood this, so they like sabotaged a friend or like they shot each other or something like that. And it's like, well, this was a misunderstanding. But misunderstandings are bred because the communication was lost. So let's just work on that. And it's not that hard. It's just we don't take a look at it because we keep mistaking communicating for talking. We just think if we talk well, we're okay. But it's similar to it's like, oh, I mean, if I get 6 hours of sleep, I'm fine. I'll just have some coffee. I'm like, yes, and I don't think that's going to optimize you as a human. Speaking from somebody who used to do that, I could go, so I can show up to a classroom, 3 hours of sleep, I can get an espresso, and I promise you, I'm the most animated person in that room, in that building. My colleagues did not understand it at all. I didn't realize until I got into the medical office that, like, if you continue to do that, you will die early. I'm like, okay. Just, but until somebody points it out, you don't really know what to do. So it's the same thing that my job is to point it out. My job is to make sure you understand, hey, like this is an issue. And I want to make sure you want to get your money's worth, but also that like you are in a place where you're your best self for your family, you're your best self for your colleagues, you're your best self for your boss, you're your best self for yourself. You need to be.
Mm, I love that. Michael, over to you.
I just had one question. What do you think your dying and how it did it inform your desire to help people with their or communication?
So that's a good question. I I was supposed to work with my speech and debate students the day after. The night before, I called my supervisor. I had two of them, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a little late to work," and they were a little confused because they're like, "Roberto's never late to anything." But then I'm like, "You don't have this on speaker, right?" Because I really didn't know. I found out I had cancer like 10 minutes before that. So I didn't even I was still processing, but I'm like, I at least gotta let him know. The workaholic in me is like, I don't want you to just not see me and wonder what's wrong. So I said it, and they're like, "What?" Like, because this knucklehead had it on speaker. So like my other supervisor, she's like 80. She just comes, she sees me as like her grandchild. So she's just like, "No, we're gonna find you." Somehow they did. And I literally went through that. But the thing is, the way they told my students. So my students found the hospital I was at, and a lot of them came with their parents, with their friends. Like they just visited me. I had students that like one of them was like working for like a company in Jamaica. She flew back and came to see me, and I couldn't speak. But in my mind, I'm like, Janae, but like you don't what? Like what? I thought you were like modeling or something. Like so, I like had the text to voice app, and I saw what that did for people. And everybody asked me like, what are the things that you've learned? Because you have such a motivation and a faith behind this, in spite of you were dying. What is wrong with you? And I'm like, you just gotta seize the day. So when I think about communicating, I think about the fact of if you fumble this, you might not get another opportunity. You may not be able to fix whatever happened. You may not be able to fix the communication if you said a certain way. I mean, I unfortunately, and I'm just going to be honest, there have been times where people have said really not good things, really terrible things, really traumatic things. They don't get to fix the mistakes because someone offed themselves. Someone decided, okay, I'm checking out because they believed a temporary emotion. You never really believed what you said. You were just upset. But because you communicated it to them, you made them think you believed it. You made them think that they were alone, and you made them think that they were not worthy of whatever they were worthy of. So you can't really recoil, retract those things. Even in corporate or even in job interviews, you say something because you're like, you didn't read the person. You didn't like connect with them emotionally. So when you don't get the job, you're like, it's me. My skills suck. You get drunk in some bar in downtown New York City. And then you realize, oh, everything was a green light, but you didn't pinpoint a trigger they had. You brought it up. They were triggered and they tapped into their emotionality like, we're good. That was all it is. So we have to like be very emotionally intelligent. How do we identify these things? We communicate, asking questions, shutting up. Silence is such a Swiss Army knife in communication. I don't understand why people don't just stop talking and listen to people.
Hmm.
Because you'll pick up so many things. But that in short, Michael, is the reason before that. Like it informed me that like I gotta slow down. I have to be willing to connect with people. I have to be willing to take every day and have extreme execution. Every single day, gotta be purposeful. Every single day, I gotta connect with people. Every single day, I have to understand, hey, I don't know everything because you're probably going through something. And at the very least, I'm gonna learn something. And if I can like basically scale that to a place where like we can all do that around the world sounds a little crazy, but it's only crazy until it happens, and that's my mission. So that's what we're doing because we have to. We have to. There were some people in Mexico. They're just like because we have some language barrier. Sir, I speak Spanish. So already they were just so happy and they were informing me that sometimes they feel like their guests don't understand them. I'm like, you need to be seen, you need to be heard, you need to be understood, and you need to be loved, even if you're not agreed with. So that's all that everybody needs. So let's work on learning that. And that all comes down to how do you communicate with someone so that they understand that they don't feel alone.
I love that. That because communication is a two-way street. Two people need to be able to connect. It's not something where I can just talk at you and tell you all the things that I need and not check in to make sure you're receiving what I'm sending. Is the message sent truly the message being received? And to make sure that that two-way street to really connect, that that's you have to. And I think we all fumble at that all the time. You know, it's like I know even just in casual conversation with people that, you know, oh my gosh, I'll walk away later going, why did I say that? I shouldn't have said it that way. And I know that wasn't you know, and I beat myself up thinking I should have done it different. But really, it's like just stick with it and until you make that connection, get the connection made. People are people. I used to be fearful of people in like when I was a student. Oh my gosh, my teachers. Or when I was in college, I never went to go talk to my professors because they're them. I can't do that. And now it's like now I'm in the role of I'm in that world going, what the heck was I thinking? That was all made up in my head. You know, it was putting myself in a position that I really shouldn't have been putting myself in, but I didn't know and I never had been there before and I struggled and it's okay. And people just need to keep working at it, keep communicating. So, and I know I love asking about stories. And Roberto, I want to give a chance if you have a story you might want to share with us. I know you've given some really wonderful insights, and you've had so many great experiences with students along the way. And I know you say you do speaking, and which, by the way, I want to make sure to ask you, how do people find you if they want to connect with you and bring you in? Where do they go to do that? Is there a website you can share?
No, of course. So my website is www.troncosoventures, VENTURES.com. You can also find me on social media at 2 Roberto Troncoso. Do the two because I'm a junior. But I'm like, yeah, so I'm like, oh, literally two, my name, full, you'll be finding me. Got a lot of things. If you DM me, I will also send you back something. I will give you a resource. I think it'd be really cool. But stories, I love them because it's just like they just always shape us. So, Layla Muhammad is her name, and it was funny because she she literally was somebody that thought, Mister, you are trying too hard. And I'm like, Layla, you're worth it. Yeah, but all the teachers have to. I'm like, girl, I don't got anything. I don't have to care about you. Caring for you is a choice. Teaching you is my duty. Not caring. Ugh, what? So
Yeah.
I'm like, I care about what you have to say. So I want to see what's up. So she used to talk to me just like after school. She would never go to her next class on time, I swear. She literally would just like, Mister, you need to understand my man. He's not that. And I'm like, I don't know why you would be telling your teacher this, but like, okay, fine. Like we're just listening. And I'm like, me of all people. So I'm just listening. I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're a queen and da. So after she had left, a couple of weeks down the line, I do a lesson called Lesson Zero, which again paralyzes the kids because they're like, oh my gosh, we have to speak in front of the entire class by ourselves. Oh my God. So like they have that as a strategy. Again, they get up, they have to go, hello, my name is blank. It's very nice to meet you. Let's have a good day. And then I have to zero in on like what are the things that are red flags for me. The eye contact, they don't look correctly, they fidget their arms, they're picking their pants. But later on, I have an exercise called mirror, and they have to essentially repeat a phrase back and forth. And it's supposed to highlight emotion because after you repeat that, you get fatigued, so you can't really like hold back an authentic emotion you have. When you're tired, you really don't care about mitigating or managing your emotions. So I did that because I wanted to show them, I'm like, okay, these are your pure emotions. They're real. You need to recognize that they're real. You need to own that they're real. Now we have to work on how do you do performance management. So when you speak to people, you don't want to cut their faces off because you're mad. But you first need to understand and own the fact that you're mad. So Layla, she was going back and forth. She wasn't doing the assignment correct. She was probably like, "Oh, you have a blue shirt. You have a blue shirt. You have a blue." She was doing that with some girl, and I'm like, "Layla, this is boring." She's just like, "Ugh, you can't say that." I'm like, "I can say whatever I want." I'm confused. Like, she's just like, "This is boring." I'm actually yawning in my heart, and she's just like, "Well, I don't know what you want me to do, Mister." So I'm like, "Okay, let me give you a phrase." So I said, your man look good." So she
Nice.
said that to the other girl. Now this is repetition. So the other girl said that. Layla became angry within seconds. Angry, like jumped, like thought it was real because of the way the girl said it. It sounded authentic. So she's just like, and they just had a problem. Like they had a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, teenagers. So like they just had that thing. She's like, what did you say about my man? Like in front of the whole class, 25 kids just looking like, what the? And
What just happened?
I'm like, checkmate, guys. That's my point. Okay, we're going back to our seats. Like, and then we get to like really like we unpack that. Okay, where are the emotions? Where are that? It's like, no, no, like you tricked me. Like that's not what I'm like. I didn't trick you. I just revealed who you really are. That's it. Now you can communicate authentically. We don't do well communicating our fake selves. We always put on facades. We put on suits and we're like, I'm gonna be regal, but like also in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm hungry. And if my stomach growls in this meeting, I'm gonna hate myself. Like it's like you need to understand the authentic you. And if you're mad because you really care about your partner, then you need to say that, own that. But now also, now that you know that, you need to channel that. Maybe you don't talk about the fact that you and your partner are going through things in front of like the interviewer, like that. But you need to recognize that because what doesn't come in and out of your mouth through words will come in and out of your body through actions. So your anxiety, your traumas, your tics will manifest because you're having a meeting and you're like picking your pants. You're having a meeting and you're like sweating. You're having a meeting and like you're just kind of like upset because you guys had an argument like yesterday and you didn't like recognize and think and like talk with yourself about what that was and how you can digest that. So they don't know what's going on. They just assume you're incompetent. It's like you don't get it. But that comes down to communication. Don't tell them what happened, but own what happened so that you can move on.
So good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Because yes, that I absolutely I love the stories. I wish I could sit here and keep bringing more and more forward because every time I hear any of these, you're so relatable and you get it. And I think that's what people need. They desire that. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. And you break it down in a way that's like, oh, yep, there it is. You know, so I really appreciate all these things that you're sharing. I'm gonna take a moment and just go around the room and see what final thoughts people have here. Michael, I'm gonna start with you. Do you have any last thoughts you want to share?
I just like his whole idea of communication, and because the words that you speak are so little as far as what the actions that you can come across, and how you say what you say and what you do while you're saying it has a lot more to do with than just the words you speak.
Love it. Actually, Kurt, I'm gonna pass the baton your way next.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna share a book that is being read through by the Motivation Readers Mastermind Network with our leader and friend, Mastermind Stan Anderson. And the book they're going through is Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols. And so part of the tagline with that, or subtitle, is Abundance Now Amplify Your Life and Achieve Prosperity Today. So, um, when I was in the open minds session prior to my coming in to join all of you here at the TDC Today show, I was asked, how do you find and how do you keep yourself around all this positivity? Because they hear about it all the time, and across the last few years they have. And I said, well, at any moment, I believe all throughout the day, every day, we constantly have an option, a fork in the road. We can either breathe life into a person, a group, an organization, the disability channel, or anything we're becoming involved with. Our energy can come in on the life side of our trajectory or the death side. We can, kind of go in that dark space, that negative space, and, all the things. And I just said, I just kind of keep that barometer going, as I navigate time, and I just try to, keep leaning into the life side of the equation. And, so I like that Abundance Now title because there's a whole mentality about abundance and go for it. Like working with a group now that they really got me empowered to, have a strong goal to create a communication network through mass media and all the things in 8 years. I call it 8x8, reaching 8 billion people by 8 years from now, 2033. And just leaning into that for all the prosperity that I need and we need, and and amplify your life. I've been talking a lot about that this last week about the work of the last few years for me has been about offering to people to scale up what they're doing by 33 times magnification. So there you go. Those are my thoughts: abundance, amplification, prosperity. Abundance now. Let's do it. Back to you, Sue.
Excellent. Well, Marianne, I'm going to pass it your way. Any final thoughts you'd like to share? Give her a chance to unmute.
Yes, want to thank everybody. And Michael, we have some guests coming your way to be a speaker, and Lee Rosenblum, who we met through the Happy Neighborhood Projects. And we're getting more people to help you out for this great event in December. And so go out and play is our tagline. And happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. And well, Sue, I don't know if you could play Rabbit Acts of Kindness. I did put it in there. And for our new guests to see the book trailer and the characters, if you could be kind to play that, I would appreciate that also.
All right, well, let me go ahead and pull that up. I'll share that. We'll pull that up on the screen. And then after that, Norberto, I'll ask you for final thoughts after this video.
Okay.
Ooh, sorry, Seth.
Harry, the hard of hearing, Rabbit attends a special school in Hawaii where he makes new friends and learns sign language and finger spelling. One day, on his way home, two bullies tease and frighten him. In a panic, Harry dashes to the ocean and jumps in. He is rescued by a kind turtle named Tico and safely delivered to Rabbit Island. Harry must summon all of his courage to find his way back. With the help of others who are also stranded, he builds a magical boat and his team undertakes a heroic voyage home. Together they face the bullies and arrive just in time for spectacular rainbow birthday party. Created by Marianne of Waikiki, just for you. Do you have a brave heart? You can learn the fingerspelling ASL alphabet. Visit the Acts of Kindness series YouTube channel. Meet Chelsea the Courageous Sign Language Chicken and Eve, the fingerspelling Bumblebee. Get your copy of the coloring book today. Play the game app and pledge to spread kindness everywhere. And rock your style with our exclusive Rabbit Acts of Kindness No Bullying t-shirt. Get your copy of Rabbit Act of Kindness, No Bully today. Available on Amazon and actofkindnessseries.com. All U.S. classroom teachers can request copies of the books, coloring books, and Folkmanist puppets for every student via donorschoose.org.
Excellent. So that is something that she's been doing for a while here, and I love that we're able to share out the book trailers. That was just for one of the books that she has written, and you can always find more on her website, actsofkindnessseries.com. So thank you so much, Marianne. And Norberto, I want to go ahead and pass that baton to you for some final thoughts on today.
Of course, thank you for having me. I would definitely say, guys, do it scared. Whatever you are too frightened to do, paralyzed, you're feeling like you don't know what it is, do it. Work it. Ask the questions. Get the things. Work on what needs to be worked on because it's the only way you're going to be successful and you don't know what tomorrow holds.
I love that. I know, and what you had sent the phrase "courageous communication" really hit me. That is not a descriptor that I've ever used before in my all these years. So that was a way to put it that really was like, why wouldn't we be courageous communicators? Why not? You're right. You don't know what you're gonna get. We're all here doing the best we can. This being the TDC Today Show communities, we are a strong community, getting stronger, growing better all the time, bringing folks like you in and joining us. And I could not be more thankful for all of what all of you bring here. Michael, Marianne, Kurt, Norberto, thank you guys so much for all that you do and all that you share. For all of us here with the TDC Today Show communities, we thank you.